Hey gems, welcome back to my channel. Today, from the title of the video, we're going to be talking about breastfeeding. All things breastfeeding, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between, okay? So if there's something you might be interested in, let's get into it. I want to start off by saying everyone has a different experience when it comes to breastfeeding. Not all moms are able to breastfeed. Some moms are, some moms are not. Some moms start off breastfeeding and after a while they aren't able to produce anymore, or some moms might start off not producing and then are able to produce. So everyone has a different journey. So I'm going to talk about my experience and my journey with breastfeeding and everything that I went through and all of the things that I learned, okay? So first and foremost, out of all the research, honestly, that I've done, all I knew is I wanted to breastfeed my kid. You just know or hear breastfeeding is just what you do. But no one talks about breastfeeding. Like, what is breastfeeding? Like, what does it take to breastfeed? Other than, I think, at the hospital, they're like, are you going to breastfeed or bottle feed? And they teach you then. You have a little quick, oh, you're going to have a lactation consultant or whatever to give you some insight on breastfeeding. But I feel like this is one of the things that we should learn about or know about prior to even having a baby, but it's not something that's talked about as often. Because I'm telling you, breastfeeding hurts. It hurted. Imagine you go 20, I think I was 27 years of your life. No one, I don't know what y'all be doing. No one is on your boobs like that searching for life. This is their life source. This is what's gonna keep them alive. So now you have it all day, every day, every second, and it's just like a lot. So we obviously know after you get pregnant, some people, they get their milk before they even have the baby, and some people the baby come after. It all depends. So I personally, after I had Eli, put him on my chest, did a little skin to skin moment, and then I want to say they taught me how to put him on my boob, and I didn't think he was getting any. My boobs were huge, okay, but I didn't think that he was getting any. And when I was trying to pump or squeeze, nothing was coming out. So I'm like, or not enough, but maybe my body just needed to heal from the trauma or from what it just experienced of pushing a baby out. It needed to regroup. So I remember being at the hospital and they taught me how to put Eli on my boob, and there was like the colostrum is the best thing, golden milk they call it, etc, etc. That's the best thing for him. And I would I would hand express and put it aside just in case. What do you want? Oh, he was on the boob. They showed me how to latch, etc, etc. But it was hurting. Honestly, it was uncomfortable for a really long time. I guess I didn't know how to latch proper. I don't know. I didn't know what I was doing, okay? I am a new mama and I'm supposed to give this baby his food for life. No one taught me what to do. They gave me a quick little lesson. It was supposed to be fine. Breastfeeding hurts, okay? It hurt. Now, I come home with Eli. I'm trying this whole breastfeeding situation still. No clue what the heck. I'm trying my best. The man will pull on my boob. It'll hurt. I didn't know how to take him off. It was a little traumatizing in the beginning. But now my boobs are like numb to it. I guess that's how it goes. I don't know. So I got used to it after a while. I started having a little routine in a sense. So some of the essentials and things that I used when I was breastfeeding, I had the breast pads because you're going to leak. I had a haka for when I was breastfeeding because when he's on one, the other one is leaking. And they're like, oh, that's good milk, save it for bottles, etc, etc, and things like that. So I had a haka. And then I had storage bags. Honestly, if I could do it again, I wouldn't even store any milk, because what I ended up doing was using all of my old milk for milk baths. Eli didn't take a bottle. I gave him a bottle like once or twice, but I'm like, if my boobs are working, why am I giving him a bottle? But it's because everyone was telling me, give him a bottle. He might want to, like, so that when he needs to take a bottle, he'll be able to take one. So I gave him a bottle like twice, but it was pointless. I got a breast pump. I tried to pump, and I'm like, what the heck am I pumping for? I put it on. I said, okay, I'm gonna do 10 minutes. Not even 1 second into it, I'm like, okay, I'll do 5. Then by the minute, I said, I'm not doing this. What am I doing this for? And I also didn't like the fact that pumping, personally, it's like you're forcing it to happen. Whereas what I learned later on with breastfeeding is that when your child latches on, it tells you, the body, what it needs. So your milk in the morning is not the same as your milk at night. Your milk when your baby is sick is not the same as when your baby is healthy. Your milk changes and adapts to what your child needs. So the saliva in the baby's mouth tells the boob what it needs. So at nighttime, my milk will be heavier so he could have a better night's sleep. In the daytime, it'll be not as heavy. When he's sick, it produces all kinds of whatever the heck it needs, antibodies to help him. So I thought that was really interesting. And I know when you put a breast pump, you're just pumping. You're pumping. That pump is not telling your body what to do. It's kind of like when you milk a cow, okay? You're just getting the milk out. That's it. And personally, because I wasn't working, I wasn't leaving the home, I was with Eli all day, every day, I didn't find it was necessary for me to even pump and store milk. For what? He's always going to be with me, so he could feed on demand. He wants it, pop it on. And honestly, I feel like it was a little much easier for me because, one, I did not have to heat up any bottles. Because the few times that I did have to heat up bottles, that was a lot of work, okay? 2, I could feed him anywhere, anytime, any way, any place. 3, there was a milk shortage happening, and because I wasn't buying milk, I didn't know there was a milk shortage happening, you know? So things like that, it was really helpful. Now, what have I learned with this experience is what worked for me and how my breastfeeding journey went was not how other friends I've had. Their breastfeeding journey didn't last as long, or their breastfeeding journey wasn't as successful as you could say, the world might put it. Like, I've been breastfeeding for 19 months now. I'm aiming for at least 2 years old. I am tired, okay? I don't like when he's on me. I don't want to be touched. I don't want to be bothered. There's moments where I literally will let him cry because I really do not want him on my boobs. But it's like I'm making a sacrifice because I know how good this nourishment is for his body. Like every other animal, when a cow has a baby, it drinks its milk. When a goat has a baby, it drinks its milk. When I have a baby, I should be giving it my milk, you know? So sometimes I have to fight myself and remember that I'm doing it for his betterment and his health and his flourishing body. Even though I may not want to be touched and I'm irritated and I just get so annoyed, especially at night. I literally, nighttime breastfeeding is the worst. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But during the day, sometimes what I do when I don't want to give it to him, I notice when I'm sitting down, he has obviously much easier access. So as soon as I see he comes on me and he wants it, I get up and start walking around. And then I put food on the table or fruit or some kind of drink. I'm like, here, take this because I just don't want you on me. And sometimes I feel like he's using me, you know? Like he just needs a little sip of water, sip of milk. No, go sip some water. I am not your fountain. But anyways, so I learned that breastfeeding, for the most part, most moms stop at like 6 months or something, because that's when the baby usually starts solids. But everyone might have a different timeline. I personally have a different timeline. There's other people I've watched or I've seen, I read about, that breastfed until 5, 6. And that's not a norm. That's not normal for us in our day and age. It's like frowned upon. Why is he this age? He could walk, talk, blah, blah, blah. Why is he breastfeeding? And one might say, why am I still breastfeeding my 19-month-old? It's my choice. It's my decision. That's our relationship. I know what I'm doing it for. And if it's not your boob, I don't know why you care so much. But hey, with the breastfeeding, I had to eat certain foods and drink certain things to kind of help with my milk production. Raspberry leaf tea, nettle, oatmeal, coconut water. Those were those are the things I ate all the time. Whenever I would eat oatmeal, my milk production was just like it was really good. I don't know what the heck is in oatmeal, but it helps. So much so that right now I don't really like oatmeal. I've kind of like, ugh. But in the beginning, all I was doing was eating oatmeal, drinking my teas and my coconut water. Obviously exercising and making sure that your body can handle this. And not saying that by doing these things that I did, that will ensure you to have an abundance of milk production. No, it might not, but that's just what happened for me, and that's just what some research shows would help. Another thing too, I learned this from my midwife, is that if you are not with your baby all the time, your milk might dry up faster than a mom who is actively with their child. So I noticed that depending on the time when in the beginning stage of my breastfeeding, depending on the time and if it was feeding time, my boobs started tingling, like it started like pulsating for him, and he'll start crying or something. It's like my body know, okay, it's feeding time. It's that time. So imagine if you are not home and it's feeding time and you don't do what you need to do to like release that milk, your body is gonna be like, okay, well, I guess it's not feeding time. So the next time that it happens, when it should be feeding time, your body already like starting to store that memory of, okay, well, we didn't feed yesterday or the day before, so maybe it's not feeding time, so let's stop producing milk at that time. Let's stop. So when a mom is not with the child, their milk might not last as long. Might not last, okay? But being that I was always with Eli, I was trying my best to eat what I could. I fed him on demand. Whenever my boobs was tingling, I'm like, all right, come on. He starts crying. If he's not wet, he's not sleepy, he's hungry. So I did that. So with my breastfeeding journey, I feel like I wish I knew the pains of breastfeeding. I wish I had more knowledge on breastfeeding and how it affects the body and how it affects the baby and the ways it helps the baby, versus, okay, just breastfeed, it's the best thing you can do. Other than that, like, but tell me, what about it makes it the best thing I can do? Tell me more. So I wish I learned that. And I wish that I didn't buy a whole bunch of breastfeeding accessories. I bought, what is it, nipple cream? That didn't do nothing. I didn't use it. I don't even know what happened to it. I wish I didn't buy any of those things and I just waited till after. Honestly, that's one of the biggest things when it comes to babies. I wish I bought everything after the baby came, because that's when you realize what you actually need, versus before the baby comes, you buy things that you think you'll need. You don't need half of those things, okay? But that's how my breastfeeding journey went. I'm still actively breastfeeding, and no one talks about the freaking scars and scratches on your boobs, because these kids' nails grow fast as heck from this breastfeeding situation, and they will cut up your skin and make you look like you do drugs and you're just scratching all the way. I don't like it. There's certain things no one tells you, and I don't like it. I had to learn through experience, and I didn't need to experience that, okay? But yeah, with this whole breastfeeding thing, I thank God that my milk supply was good. It's still good. Sometimes I don't think I have any left, and then I do a little squeeze and I'm like, oh, I have some left. And I wonder, how does it just stop? Does it just end when it like wants to? Or like, how does it just, does a child tell it to stop? Like, no, why are some of these topics not talked about or known of? I wish that some of these topics were talked about, like how does the breastfeeding process end? I did ask my doctor, and he was like, well, what you can do is you basically start binding them, like just wrap them super tight and don't give it to your kid. And I'm like, there has to be a more, there has to be another way, right? Like, right? But yeah, I don't know. I'm really lucky and I'm really grateful that I had the ability to breastfeed, and that my journey wasn't as hard, I would say, and that I'm still able to go on. What's wrong with you? I'm thankful that I'm still able to breastfeed, that I'm still helping nourish my child, and that I got to experience that. Because if I have a second child and that's not the case, at least I know what it is like, you know? So, thank you. Thank you. What are you doing? But Eli did bite me like 4 times. Usually when he's sleeping and he falls asleep and it's like, and he falls asleep and like his teeth just, it's not cool, okay? People might think, oh my gosh, breastfeeding, you're doing it because you like it. And I'm sacrificing my body for this little human. I do not like it, okay? But I'm trying. I gave myself a goal, and I will at least finish. I will at least get to 2 years old, okay? That was my goal, okay? After that, you better go ahead, Eli. So, yeah. So don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment below and tell me about your breastfeeding journey, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, gems.